Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, you know what we're about to do. We are going to jump in and get started talking about Fani Willis and Donald Trump. Now, you may have actually forgotten about it. I don't think you did, but you could have actually forgot that Fani Willis indicted Donald Trump and 17 other co-defendants in a RICO case here in Atlanta in Fulton County in regards to the 2020 election, quote unquote, interference. So that case has been floating out there for quite some time. You're familiar with the infamous disqualification hearing where it was revealed that Fani Willis had hired her paramour, aka her side piece, aka her sneaky link. She had hired her paramour to run point on this prosecution of a former president. Come to find out he was getting paid exorbitant amount of money. All of these kind of shenanigans have come out to be revealed, and they're actually under consideration, and they're still further down the road. So this case is going to not even be heard until after the 2024 election. Very wild, very wild. So what I want to do real quick, there's a couple of quick articles because I had kind of actually forgot when this happened. It was actually a year ago this past week. So I'm going to pull up a couple of quick an article and a video. We're going to look at them both and then have a quick discussion about it. And then we'll just jump in on everything that you all want to talk about. I do want to say thank you so much to everybody that's already jumped into the chat. Thank you so much already for hitting the like button, saying what's up, becoming a part of the best live chat on the planet. I really do appreciate you. So let's pull this in. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Maybe I didn't go. Now we can go. All right, let's do it, Jason. Real quick, let's check that audio. It looks like it's going to be loud enough. Okay, let's go.
Creeping closer and closer. There is a huge historic decision that is still looming. 1 year ago to the day, former President Donald Trump and 18 others were formally charged in Fulton County.
And we covered it extensively then, as we continue to do now. District Attorney Fani Willis accusing them of meddling in Georgia's 2020 election. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is live outside the Fulton County Courthouse. A lot has happened since that night, Doug.
Yeah, and a lot hasn't happened since that night. We stood right here in this spot 365 days ago to the day when those charges were brought against Trump and many of his colleagues. And, even now, a year later, Trump is very far from seeing the inside of a courtroom here in Fulton County. The charges brought against former President Donald Trump and many of his colleagues upended American legal history and threatened the success of his eventual run for president. But a year later,
former President Trump is not going to get tried here in Fulton County anytime soon.
Defense attorney Josh Schiffer says a year out, we could be farther from a Trump trial than this time last year, not closer.
Donald Trump's biggest priority in this entire process was pushing any kind of exposure to trial past the November general election date, and they have succeeded wildly. There's absolutely no chance this case sees a trial before the election.
Since that night charges were brought, some of Trump's have been dropped and 4 of his co-defendants have pleaded guilty. But it was a relationship between District Attorney Fani Willis and her lead prosecutor, Nathan Wade, that ended up getting more attention than any other element of the trial.
Nathan Wade's relationship with Fani Willis can easily be found as the reason this case is not proceeding at the speed she wanted at the beginning.
It led to a ruling that saw Wade's exit from the case and a long appeals process to also get Willis removed that hasn't even started yet. Georgia's appeals court will take that case up in December of 2024 and rule by March 2025. After that, the decision, no matter what it is, will likely be appealed by the losing side to Georgia's Supreme Court.
In a year from now, we're probably going to be still spinning our wheels to a degree, waiting for courts of appeal to finish their difficult work.
And in the meantime, Donald Trump has very consistently bashed Fani Willis at a lot of his campaign rallies, and at hers, Kamala Harris has used this indictment as her main attack against Donald Trump. By the way, we reached out to Fani Willis's office today. They had no comment. From the Fulton County Courthouse, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
All right. So I didn't even realize they're going to hear this in December and then decide in March 2025. It is very possible this case is going to be going through all of the shenanigans all the way up into 2026. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I did not realize that part. That slipped past me. I don't know what I was thinking. But let me just look at this as well. There's another quick one I want to look at. And it's just in both of these, the video as well as the article that I'm about to read are both listed down in the description, so you can check them out. You can follow along, or if you want to peep them out later on as well. This is from Atlanta News First. Shout out to ANF. I really like them, and they're a good, scrappy little news outlet. So what does it say? 1 year after indictments, Fani Willis's case against Donald Trump stuck. Let's go. Atlanta, Georgia, a year after her office handed down a series of historical indictments against former President Donald Trump and more than a dozen of his allies, Fulton County DA Fani Willis is no closer to bringing the 45th president into a courtroom than she was 365 days ago. I think it would be interesting, especially in light of the conversations we've been having about Fani Willis's own election challenge. What if she wasn't the DA? Like, imagine that. What would that do? I don't know. Like, of course, the DA could just say, no longer, we're going to remove these charges, or we're going to do away with it. However, like, what would happen if she was not the DA? That'd be crazy. Willis indicted Trump and 17 others on August 14th, 2023, on a vast series of organized crime-related charges, alleging that they attempted to alter the outcome of the Georgia 2020 election, a contest that saw Joe Biden become the first Democrat since Bill Clinton to win Georgia or any other deep Southern state since 1992. But now, her indictments are in the hands of the Georgia Court of Appeals. That's because Trump, his attorneys, and many of the remaining 14 co-defendants seized up Willis's now admitted affair with a former special prosecutor as grounds to disqualify her from the case. I do think they should have been a little bit more clear. It's not that she was just having an affair. It was the fact that she had hired him, and that's it. It's not just that they're just upset because she had a side piece. That's not the case. The case is that she had actually hired this man. I think that should have been a little bit clearer. They'll say it again, but I just think that's not as clear as they would like it to be. But let's continue. Fani Willis's office took a big loss as soon as Nathan Wade's relationship was brought into the general public, says defense attorney Josh Schiffer. That allowed Donald Trump and his defense team to really push the time frame back well beyond November general election day. And that was one of their biggest priorities. Last week, Willis's office filed a brief urging the appeals court to allow their case to move forward. The brief of appellate asked the Court of Appeals to agree with Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee earlier ruling that found no reason to disqualify Willis. All right, and here is the 96-page motion, and we do not have the time, or brief rather. I mean, you definitely can check that out. We are not going to do that tonight. We're not built for that tonight. Trump and the Georgia attorneys, along with several other co-defendants, appeal McAfee's ruling to the Court of Appeals, which has scheduled a hearing, to hear arguments in the case on December 5th, 2024. The court will have to rule on the appeal by March 2025. And even that might not be the end of the appeals process. We're almost certainly going to be waiting for an additional appeals review, either from the Georgia Court of Appeals or the Georgia Supreme Court in about a year, says Schiffer. I don't believe there's any realistic likelihood that Donald Trump or his co-defendants will see the inside of a courtroom for a trial anytime in the next 12 months. All right, we'll just scroll down here. And again, there's just a couple of clips about the evidence that they have, and there's another clip here, and we'll peep those at the end. Let's go. 12 months. In a year from now, we're probably going to still be spinning our wheels to a degree, waiting for courts of appeal to finish their difficult work. In August 2023, Willis indicted Trump and 17 GOP allies on charges they engaged in an organized crime-like conspiracy to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election. 4 of the 18 originally indicted have already reached plea deals with Willis's office. But in early January 2024, a series of explosive allegations surfaced when Michael Roman, one of Trump's co-defendants, and Ashley Merchant, Roman's attorney, accused Willis and then special prosecutor Nathan Wade of having an inappropriate, or rather improper, relationship. Both Willis and Wade have since acknowledged a romantic relationship. I think they gotta be a little bit more clear that they do say special prosecutors. I'll let that slide. Never mind. Okay, and this is just a deal or no deal. This kind of says who is still in the mix, who has made a deal, who has not. It's kind of interesting. If you're interested in this, definitely go check it out. Let's keep going. The allegations that Willis had improperly benefited from the romance with Wade upended the case for weeks. Intimate details of Willis and Wade's personal lives were aired in court in mid-February. In March, McAfee rejected defense efforts to remove Willis and her office over the romantic relationship with Wade, but he did give the defendants permission to seek review of his decision from the appeals court. In his ruling, McAfee wrote Willis must remove Wade from the racketeering indictment if she were to remain on the case. On April 1st, Trump and several of his remaining co-defendants formally appealed McAfee's ruling allowing Willis to remain on the case. That appeal came after McAfee gave the green light to allow such an appeal over his decision. The appeal was signed by all of the attorneys representing the remaining co-defendants who have not already settled in the case in Fulton County Superior Court. All right, and that is the summation of it. Yeah, that's the end of it. But I just think this is interesting. I had totally forgot about a lot of this. I ain't gonna even lie. But let's just real quick. I think this is the one that we just watched. This is the one we just watched. And I thought this one was...
Tonight, the future of former President Trump's federal classified documents trial will be decided here in Atlanta. Just days after the case was dismissed, there is now an appeal. Atlanta News First Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe joins us live here in studio. Now, the special counsel in charge of prosecuting that case now fighting back, Brendan.
Yeah, that's right, Tracy. A federal judge in Florida dismissed that Mar-a-Lago documents case with a novel ruling that special counsels have to be confirmed and funded by Congress. If the 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals here in Atlanta decides that judge was wrong, the indictments against Trump would be reinstated. The former president was accused of keeping top secret documents at Mar-a-Lago, hiding them from federal agents, and refusing to return them to the federal government when asked. Judge Eileen Cannon dismissed those indictments, saying the special counsel was never confirmed by Congress, making Jack Smith's appointment unconstitutional. Smith has filed notice of appeal to the 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals here in Atlanta. A 3-judge panel will hear that appeal here in Atlanta, and whoever loses can appeal to the full 11th Circuit, then the U.S. Supreme Court. But if Trump is elected president again, he can order his Justice Department to drop the whole case, which would be completely legal under the recent Supreme Court presidential immunity ruling.
Wow.
And creeping closer and closer.
So there's just
a huge historic
such
decision.
a boondoggle of just all kinds of shenanigans. So we got the alleged election interference case, the alleged special documents, classified documents case coming back. It's like the night of the living dead. I mean, thought that thing was done. Now it's coming back. It's always something crazy. But I really do appreciate that, and appreciate y'all checking that out. Let me know what y'all think about it. Down below, the links to this article as well as the video that we did earlier are both listed. Check them out. Let me know what you think about it. I really do appreciate it.
Yo, hit that like for a deal with Christian. Yo, for a deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian. For a deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian.